Hi, I'm Leah.
And I'm Emily.
And welcome to
The Boob Podcast.
the podcast with no structure
No plan.
and no hope. It's episode 7.
God, is it really? That's one for every day of the week.
That is, this would be Sunday. Fuck,
Awesome.
it's a Sunday.
Fuck, it's a Sunday.
I'll put the meme in there just for
That means, you know, we're very on theme than making it about like the devil, because Sunday is like the devil's day, so I've heard.
Yeah?
I mean, it's not, it's Jesus, but you know, I'm sure he's done some bad stuff in his time.
6 is for the devil, 7's for man. So that must make me... 5 is for the... I don't know. I'm just chatting shit now.
You really tangented. We were 4 seconds in and we'd lost you. We'd lost you already.
Right. What are we doing today?
Right, what's on today's menu? I mean, we're spooky now, aren't we? That's our new brand.
We've segued into Spooktown. We will probably still talk about James Acaster, but
Oh yeah.
Spooky is our middle name, baby.
Mine's not. Mine's bloody Jordan, and I still can't get
Mine's
over it.
Helen.
Like Nan. It was only like just before or just after she died that I was like, bloody hell, she's not even called Leslie.
No, Leslie was her middle name. She was called Norma. She just hated it.
Norma. Which, I mean, good on you, Les. Big fan of you, Nan Les. We'll try and get Nan as a guest if we can really take this spooky thing off the ground. Yeah. I'm sure she'll want to join in.
Because talking of the dead, today I'm going to be taking you to the spooky, creepy, horrible, terrible, spooky, kooky, and altogether a little bit creepy, Romania. Because
I feel like, disclaimer,
go on.
We've got to say, any Romanian listeners though, big fan of your place where you live.
Yeah, and the plan for today was that I was going to do a bit of research about spooky places across the globe and have like one from Texas, one from London, one from there. But I got stuck on Romania because there are so many terrifying places that this is a list of 5, but I have a list that I haven't researched that's like 15 long, and like half of them are all in the same city. It's insane.
Holiday destination.
Yeah, that will be our first stop on the spooky tour.
Oh God, yes. Oh, could you imagine the gift shops in Romania? Oh, you're gonna get pens that are essentially just not like, they're just uncarved pencils because they're just stakes of wood to kill any. Oh, I'm ready.
Yeah, I mean, if there was anywhere that was our spiritual home, the birthplace of the modern vampire, probably it.
Exactly, and I don't know if it is relevant, but it is my favourite font. Times New Romania.
Nice,
do you know what I mean?
Nice.
Yeah.
I actually, just because I like to keep on brand, I did my research today for this podcast in the font Dante, because I was talking about hell. That's how much of a loser I am. But if you haven't used Dante before, it's a really nice font. That's the stupidest thing I've ever said.
It's like, what was that quote you said about sort of like breaking the rules of grammar?
Oh, the best thing about grammar is the rules, because then you can break them.
That is the best thing about grammar though, otherwise it sucks, so I love it. What the hell's a semicolon for?
You should just be lucky, because last week I did a bunch of I told you about this off podcast. I started writing a short story in Middle English, but then I got really into it, and then I wanted it to be like correct. So now I have like 6 pages of research on Middle English grammar. I know my thee, my thou, my thy. I know the difference between all of them. It's a good job we don't have a grammar podcast.
I love what I was going to say. I proper challenge you to. We have to record a podcast exclusively in Middle English. We may lose a lot of our 2 listeners because there's no market demographic for that, but we're going to do it. The entire thing.
Stupidest shit. So be lucky you're hearing the Romanian research, because it could be a lot worse. All right.
Right, go on then. So fire at me what you've got.
Okay, right. I'm going to start with a nice short one,
Right.
One that's not on all the lists. I had to do a bit of digging for this one. It's
Obscure.
called House of the Devil.
That's a
Dun, dun, dun. And I think this is the only one on this list of 5 that's demonic. I think the others are just ghosts or witches. This is the only demonic one. So the House of the Devil is on a street I can't pronounce, but you can just Google it. It comes up. If you just put House of the Devil, Bucharest, it'll come up.
Oh,
But basically, it's an abandoned house and it's covered in ivy. There's no pictures of it on Google Images, but you can find the street. And every house on that street is fine. None of them are affected with ivy, except for this one that's like completely overgrown. Because I went on Google Earth and I was like, oh, I'll try and find it. I bet it's just like a wall of ivy and there'll be other houses with ivy and I won't be able to tell which one it is. No. Yeah. None of the other houses have ivy on them. None of them. And you just come to this like wall of green and this like horrible cast iron gate that would be like basically impossible to, because I was thinking about when we go on holiday, I was like, there's no way we can get into there because it was like locked up, chained, horrendous. So apparently this house is home to a demonic entity that can be felt and I quote, from afar. I don't know what that means. I guess it means like you can feel it when you're walking up and down the street.
Thing is, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna just be stood on the pavement, like, can you feel it yet? No, step to the left a bit. Can you feel it yet?
You'd be like, close your eyes.
Yeah.
Can you see my aura?
Oh man, I love it.
Some say, although I couldn't find any like sources to back it up, I just found a lot of stuff that was like, some people have said, some blah. So no, like, there's not like a nice. I can't cite anything, which is unfortunate because.
No, but we hate referencing.
So Harvard referencing over it. But basically, some say that on full moons, the number 666 appears on one of the walls.
Oh my god!
And now I don't know which is cause and which is effect, right? Whether the demon was the effect of these terrible things that happened, or the terrible things that happened were the effect of the demon, right?
Yeah.
But basically, during the interwar period, which is the period between World War I and World War II, a man killed 2 women in the house, and then within a couple of years, another young woman killed herself in the house. And I tried to find out about the deaths, and I wanted to find more about the house and stuff because I'd heard of it, so I wanted to bring it up. There's nothing on Google about it, and I think this is the creepiest bit for me because I was trying to find it. The first time I googled the like name of the house and where it was, I only got 1.5 pages of Google results, right? Which is crazy. But then I googled the same thing and got like the crazy amount of Google results you'd expect. So I was like, well, there's one Wikipedia description that's in broken English about like what the house is and what happened there, and that Wikipedia description, unedited, is the only thing I could find on any other website talking about it. Every blog, literally, it's the only thing that was. It was so creepy. And sorry, listener, but I'm gonna show the house.
I need to see.
It's so creepy.
That's what makes you think that it's more real, because when something's fake, people try and go on about it online so much to build up its like authenticity. But when you can't find anything, you're like, what are they trying to hide?
Right. We're going to take a little trip down this road, yeah?
I love this. It's like virtual reality.
We'll turn around. Everything's nice. Lovely. Look, nice clean houses. Nothing. Oh,
are you on about that big wall of green to the left?
Yeah.
That's not even subtle.
Like, what the fuck? But there's no pictures
like
of it.
Cube of grass. Oh my god.
Mental. See, because I was thinking, how do we get in that gate?
Yeah, that's impenetrable, but we like a challenge.
Like, what? It's just covered in like none of the other houses.
It's almost like it's trying to hide, but it's trying too hard to hide. So it's like, it's just like, all right.
It's horrible.
My god.
I was just like, it's bizarre. It's like genuinely bizarre.
So whoever's like the neighbours, depends on the feeling from afar, they must have some restless night's sleep if they're the neighbour to that.
Horrendous.
We've got to do some digging. I need to know now.
Yeah. And then I was just, I went from trying to find out about the house, to trying to find out about the murders that happened in the house. So like I had a rough kind of period, and I was looking like murders that happened in the area during this time, deaths that happened in it. Nothing.
Oh my
God,
god!
truly bizarre.
Oh.
Right.
I swear to God, I love it. Holy crap!
And that is like, that's the one I have the least information about. So strap in. The next one is probably the one that I found out the most about, because so much shit has happened, and it's crazy. It's actually crazy. I can't pronounce it, so I'm sorry to anyone Romanian who's listening, if you are listening. But the Hoia Baciu, it's spelled Hoia-Baciu.
Yes, my favourite Baciu.
Hoia that's what I'm guessing. I'm sorry I butchered it. It's a forest basically, and just because I don't want to get done for plagiarism, because I'm stressed, because that's who I am now as a uni student. Most of the information that I found out about this was from an article from The Independent, called Inside the Creepiest Forest in Transylvania by Sophie Buchan. So if you want to look her up,
free plug,
go for it, because she'll just tell you everything that I am about to, because I basically just stole it from her article.
I love that, because that's legal stealing. Big fan.
Mm-hmm. So it's said to be the most haunted forest in the whole world.
Oh, yes.
And I'd like to just point out that Japan has a suicide forest, and this is the one that's considered the most haunted.
Right, fill me right in.
Okay. All of the trees are crooked, right? Again, I'm sorry, listener. Google it.
That's
Google it.
Opening sentence, that is. I love that. Oh my God, you meant it?
All of the trees look like that. Hold on, I'm trying to find it.
Holy
there you go.
Crap, that is aesthetically pleasing, though.
All of the trees, and I basically I've written a script, so I don't want to jump ahead. So all of the trees look crooked like that, and again, listener, just Google it and tell me that's not haunted. Just tell me that isn't magical. There have been like scientific studies on why the trees grow that way. They can't come up with any scientific crying.
I don't know, I'm so sorry. Wasn't me, I was poltergeisted. Right, okay.
There's no scientific explanation for why it's like that. And every single tree that's crooked has spiraled clockwise. All of them.
I mean, statistically, that's so bloody unlikely anyway. Oh, man.
No, I know. And then, and this isn't even the weirdest natural stuff that happens, or well, paranormal stuff that happens in here, because there's something that they call the clearing, which is a pretty uniform oval shape that nothing has grown in since records began. And they've investigated the soil, and there's no explanation to why nothing grows there. But apparently it attracts Romanian witches. And I'm going to tell you why a lot of people think that nothing grows there, but I'm going to save it because I think you're going to love it.
The best day of my life.
So the forest is like silent. People who go there say there's like no bird chirping or anything. But they can hear like twigs crunching under people's footsteps where there's no people.
Oh, big fan of that. I'm so happy about this day.
I'm so glad I get to do this. I love this shit.
Best homework.
The forest is named after, apparently, because this is like yonder year. It's named after a shepherd who went missing in there, and not just a shepherd, his flock of 200 sheep.
That's a lot of sheep.
They didn't find the sheep. They didn't find the shepherd. And now you're gonna eat this up, because now I'm gonna start talking about aliens.
Don't. This is, oh man, you've tailored this to me down to a T. I love sheep and I love aliens.
In 1968, Emil Barre, a military technician, photographed what he claimed to be a UFO, right? Which you can like say, you can be cynical about UFOs and be like, oh, it's a hoax. But Emil worked for the communist government, and at the time they considered believing in the paranormal a sign of madness or state sabotage, so he was immediately fired. And anyone who was fired in the country didn't get any, like, there was no benefits for people who'd been fired or anything, so he was like fucked. So he had everything to lose from telling people about this UFO.
Wouldn't make it up for no reason.
No. Visitors of the forest have reported nausea, anxiety, unexplained rashes, the feeling of being watched, their phones and electronics stop working, ectoplasm, so like orbs are seen all the time, as well as full-blown like ghostly figures, including a guy in full Romanian like traditional dress, which show up a lot in pictures, and on pictures as well, black mists are caught, and batteries are drained of any electronic you have.
That's just like a night out at Snobs. It's so relevant.
There's a local legend that a young girl got lost in the forest and then re-emerged 5 years later without any recollection of the past 5 years in exactly the same clothes that she was wearing. And now this next bit could explain that, and it also could explain the clearing.
Bring it on.
So one explanation for why the clearing is the way it is because that area is a portal to a parallel world. This is what a lot of like the witches and stuff think.
I love this.
And the guide who, like the independent travel guide I was reading about this, she was talking to a guy who basically has made his whole life out of this forest, like he does tours and whatever. And he said that once he went and he found 60 people at the same time trying to get to another world in this clearing through this like supposed portal. And I'm talking about the portals. I was watching a YouTube video when I was researching, and it wasn't helpful. It was like top 10 scariest places in Romania, blah. But the comment section was full of like Romanians talking about how Dracula's Castle's bollocks, and like most of the stuff he was saying was dumb, except for this and a place called the Witch's Pond, which I'll talk about later.
Oh, that sounds great.
And like all of the like Romanians were talking about how they were just saying, do not go there. Like half of them were like, keep away. They've heard screams in there. They won't set foot in there.
Oh my god.
And one person was like, yeah, the portal, there are portals all over it. You can't get lost in it because you'll just end up at home. Like people like teleporting, mental. But then half
you would
of the
need to get a return flight, would you? I love that.
Half of the locals were like, it's fine. The ghosts made the clearing as like a safe space for them. They're chill, just respect them and they'll be fine. So like none of them were saying, oh, it's bollocks. They were all like, it's real. It's just some of them thought it was more dangerous than others. How actually is that?
I'm obsessed, and I believe every ounce of that. And the fact that the scientist who spotted aliens was called Emile, which is the obviously gender opposite for Emily in itself. Come on, I can't. Leah, we're going.
They do tours. They do night tours through the forest.
Of course, got to be a night in it. Love that. Oh, that sounds terrifying, but in the best way. Just because like that's the thing, because it's unknown, people automatically assume it's bad, but you know, it might be a portal to a really nice planet. I don't know,
maybe.
Oh man,
we're going to the portal.
We're going to the portal, Mom. Me and Leah just go to a portal. We'll be back by 10 or in 5 years. I don't know yet.
Oh, it's so creepy. I hate this so much.
Good researching that is. I'm going to be looking that up after this as well.
Right. The next one I had to talk about it, although it's probably the most disappointing one on the list, because obviously we're talking about Romania, we're talking about Transylvania. I have to bring up Bran Castle, which is commonly referred to as in the West as Dracula's Castle.
Of course.
Now, it's so upsetting. So upsetting. People say it's a castle that Bram Stoker based his Dracula's Castle on, and a lot of other people think that the castle was visited by Vlad the Impaler and that he lived there, etc., etc. But actually, it was never ever under his jurisdiction. He had no rule over it at all. And then other people think that he was imprisoned there by Hungarians in 1462, but actually he was imprisoned in a fortress in Budapest. So he was like, he was just never there. Whether in a positive way or a negative way, he was. Some historians think he might have like walked through the area, but like he didn't. He never set foot in Dracula, like Bram Castle.
Not like a loo break or anything. Wow.
No, and like historians, they basically think that people have chosen to make that the folklore that Vlad had history with it instead of the other castles in the area, because it was the most dramatic looking, because it's like on a cliff face and it looks quite haunting and spooky.
I like that.
Which is such a disappointment to me, that Vlad the Impaler just never went.
You can't sell us on this stuff, and it's just a whole ass lie. That's so upsetting.
And you know what? I'm gonna break your heart even more because the link to Dracula is like non-existent. Bram Stoker basically never visited. No one thinks he went. The castle doesn't even look like the description of Dracula's castle in the book. But historians believe now that the correlation between Dracula and the actual castle was a way to attract tourists, because in the 1970s the Communist Party was trying to get closer with the West, so they were trying to push tourism, and because this is the spookiest looking castle, they marketed it as the real Dracula castle to get Westerners to come.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
They appeal to it.
I know, it actually makes me so sad. Right, there might not be vampires, but I'm ending Bran Castle on a positive, because although there's no Dracula, there is ghosts.
I like a good ghost.
So there might not be vampires, but it's said that the castle is haunted by the ghost of Queen Marie, who moved into the castle during the 1920s, and she loved it so much that she had the whole place restored. So like it makes sense that she's still knocking about there. And visitors, because it's a museum to her, but there's like a Dracula-y bit still, but you can go and like visitors to the castle have spotted a ghost, like an apparition, I can't pronounce the word, but you know what I'm trying to say, around the castle and in the gardens, and other like basic ghost shit, you know, like poltergeists and all that's been sighted. People have said they've witnessed it in the castle. A lot of people are like, it's Vlad, but again, he never went. So it makes no sense that it is Vlad. It's more likely to be Marie, but still pretty cool.
No, I mean, I get that.
Pretty. It is one of the creepiest places I've ever seen.
But it's like, I suppose it's kind of like when you go into Primark and you got the Harry Potter section, and you all know that little Harry Potter section, that's not where Hogwarts is. It's the corner of Primark. But you suspend disbelief long enough to have a good time, do you? So I love it. It's whimsical. It's just the lies. I just don't agree with.
Unattractive, overweight, unworthy, untalented.
Why your lines for Romania?
Exactly. Should have set it in that forest. That would have. Oh man, I can't stop thinking about that forest. If I'm honest with you.
The forest. I should have finished with the forest. If I'm honest,
just tell us again. I think we'd want to hear it all again. That's so good.
I think this might be. Oh no, I've got two short ones. So the next one, I got most of the information on this one from a blog called Amy's Crypt. She has a YouTube channel as well. So if you want more spooky stuff, check her out. It's called The Witch's Pond. I'm a witch, hallelujah. And this one's called. This is the only other one that in that YouTube video I was talking about. The like people who are actually from Romania. It was the forest and this that they were like, do not fuck with it because it's
oh wow.
Genuine.
Oh man, yeah. Love it.
The Witch's Pond only has a diameter of 5 meters, so it's really small. But whether drought, flood, like whether it snows, there's torrential rain or no rain for 6 months, it never changes. It never gets any bigger. It never shrinks in size. It's always that size. Yeah, I love it. I know. No animals live in the water, and no animals drink from it. Locals have said that like they've seen dehydrated animals that would rather dehydrate than go anywhere near it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Many people have visited have experienced like unexplainable stuff happen to them around the pond because of its mystical powers.
Oh man.
But the mystical powers is why a lot of people go, because it's a prime spot for, as its namesake suggests, witches and witch rituals, especially on, and this is another word I can't pronounce, Sanzin. It's the midsummer celebration in Romania. So it's like a big deal for witches in Romania.
Oh, we're going then.
Yeah. It's not just the Romanian witches that visit. It's a really popular site amongst the whole Wiccan community who make pilgrimage there because of the powers in the water. It helps them basically. They can always cast spells there because the water's like helps them out. Oh, it's also believed to be on the Vlad train. It's where a lot of people think Vlad the Impaler was beheaded, and some have said that they see his ghost wandering about.
They're lying.
The pond has a really bad reputation amongst locals who claim that the water's cursed. Back in yonder year, women who basically wanted abortions would go to this pond and they'd sit in the water, and the baby would just like there just wouldn't be a baby. There just wouldn't be one.
Oh, that sounds like some chemical burn kind of stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that on my.
Do you know what I mean? Bloody hell, I really didn't want kids today.
And the only other thing I got about it is around the pond, like in the right next to it, there's abnormal weather, so there'll just be freak storms in that little area, or even snowfall, but only in that like tiniest little place.
So happy.
It's pretty spooky, and it's our second mention of witches.
What do you wear to go to like a witch's pond? I want to wear the right outfit.
I know, we need the right dresses. I have a big hat.
Do you reckon we could get like, you know, like as a mixer for the vanilla vodka, bit of pond water? See what happens.
Covered in algae, but part of me wants to drink it to see if it will give me magical powers.
I know. Do you know what I mean? I want to try it. I think a bit of skincare, see what it's like. Oh man, I'm so excited.
God.
You know, we'd obviously end up getting proper lame powers though.
Yeah, we definitely would.
We'd only get to like read the minds of really rich, nasty old men from Four Oaks, but only them exclusively. Or like we'd find out that we'd be able to guess the bank account details of people that are poor. So like, what's the point? But yeah, oh man,
I'm just excited to go traveling.
Oh, the thing, Romania is where it's at.
Romania is where it's at.
Although I would love to go more whimsical, supernatural than. Obviously, I got this from bloody Vampire Diaries, but I really want to go to New Orleans at some point.
I want to go to New Orleans.
I'd love to go there, so that's on the list as well. Go for some bourbon. Have the Vampire Brothers' own whiskey or whatever.
Right. The last place is. I probably should have started with this because it's the most depressing. Like by a long shot, it's the most depressing.
The good way to end it, isn't it? I like that.
Sad, right? So, the hotel again, I'm butchering it. Sismagu? That can't be how it's pronounced. It's really popular. Basically, this is another one in Bucharest. Most of these are in Bucharest. It's a really freaky city. Like,
I like that.
It's a good place, which is nice when you're traveling because then you can just hit up one location. You don't have to go like around the country. You can just visit a nice and then back out into France. Like, great.
Exactly. It's good for the bank account.
So this hotel, it was closed in the 1970s because it was a shithole. I don't really know any more information other than it was just falling apart, so they closed it. But then they reopened it in 1990s and converted it to student housing for theatre students.
Don't.
Yeah, I know. Why is everything linked back to us?
I know. I love it in the 90s as well.
I know. Most of the students had gone home, I'm assuming for the holidays, although it was never said for the holidays. It was just said that like most of the students had left. So there was like only a handful of people in there. And basically there was a girl, and in most descriptions it says she fell, but then I found one that was like she was raped and thrown. But I think that might just be bullshit because this person was an author that had written this blog. So I don't know whether she's just like made it a little bit, yeah. But either way, a girl fell down a lift shaft, all the way down, and she whatever broke all her bones or whatever. And she screamed for like ages and ages and ages until she died. But like there was no one there, so there was no one to hear. There was no one to hear her scream.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah. So she died, and they found her a few days later when all the students came back. But now the hotel is a hotel again, and it's really bougie. Like it is. It's huge and like bougie as shit. Like way out of. We're never gonna stay there. Put it that way.
Damn it.
But the people who can afford bougie hotels and have stayed there have said that you can hear screams. So you can hear screams coming from the lift, and she's been seen like floating around.
Oh my! Do you think though, like, are they just milking it and like that's the elevator music? They've made it. They're trying to sell it as a haunted hotel.
Yeah, I think because I went to a haunted hotel by accident.
That only you would stumble into a haunted hotel.
When I was doing my uni auditions for like schools, I was looking at Arts University Bournemouth, and me, my mum, and my mother's best friend, we stayed in this hotel called the Celebrity Hotel.
Oh yeah.
And the only reason it's called Celebrity Hotel is because on the doors they put like a star, and they put like an actor in it. And then there's like 3 pictures in the hotel room of the actor, and that's why it's the Celebrity Hotel.
Wow.
And there's like posters on the wall. But we found, it's been on oh my god, what's his name? You know, the guy who does UK's Most Haunted, Derek Acora.
Mm-hmm.
He went and did all of his shit there, so that his face is all over the place. But we managed to find a hotel room that instead of a celebrity on the door, it was Nell, the hotel ghost, that has been seen in that room so often that she's just like
a celeb in her own right.
Yeah. And people have said they've seen her walking about the place, all this. And it's like, if you look at lists of the UK's most haunted places, that's one of them. And we didn't know, we just booked it because it's the cheapest in Bournemouth.
Of course it's the cheapest as well. I love that. I love that. Oh, I see. Was it, how cheap? Is it like our price range kind of cheap?
Yeah, I reckon. But you know, 3 Tons in Sutton Caulfield, the hotel is haunted.
No way.
Yeah, like massively haunted. Mum always tells me about it.
I mean, first of all, I thought that was a pub. Didn't realise it was a hotel. So that's
I think it is a pub. It is a
Oh,
pub. I don't know what they have like, but yeah, it's meant to be really haunted. That's on a couple of lists as well.
Are we going to be the people that literally stay in a hotel in their own home city? Yes, we are. We're going to do it. Start at the 3 Tons, end in Romania.
Oh yeah, sounds like a plan.
I can't believe that. Imagine falling down an elevator shaft though. Unless it was like ground, like you're on the first floor. I'm sure she would have been all right then, wouldn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, I ended on a sad one. Sorry, boys.
Oh,
I should have saved the forest for last. I really should.
Well, no. If anything, you picked a good time because you've given me time to reflect because I need that to digest what I've heard. I still
want
can't
to see the clearing.
Those trees alone, that was enough.
Look at that.
My god, that's neat. That is definitely alien done because that is a good circle. You can't do that by hand. Oh my god.
Freaky shit.
I wonder how big that is. Like, kind of looks like a school field size, doesn't it?
It's
look at the location, Clutch County.
Pennsylvania.
Clutch. I just love this.
Yeah, 200. It's 729 acres.
Oh, that's big. Oh my god.
They have a website. Why?
Do you know it's giving me very like Slenderman
Yeah,
kind of vibes there. Like you can just see him lingering.
We should go on a tour.
Oh, the fact that it's not just haunted, like it's not just horror and spooky, it's aliens as well. That's my second. That's like sci-fi as well. Big R.
Oh mate.
Was there any research about anyone taking samples of that water from the witches' pond?
I don't know. I should have a look because, to be honest, I say research. I spent an hour just like googling stuff like before. I mean, we've got to stay on like no plan. That is our plan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I did an hour while I was eating my dinner before we came on Zoom.
I love that so much. The thing is, though, this is going to be listeners are going to want to find out more now. We have to travel there for their sake. We're going to have to vlog it, podcast it. They'll just hear us screaming the entire time because we love horror, but we're wusses when it actually gets down to it. I can't go into the kitchen at night if it's dark and the curtains aren't shut because I just know there's going to be a face outside the window. So
because I'm like, I write late, I come down, but I can't see when I have my phone torch on. I will shine it over the like banister, but I can't see into the living room. It's just like blackness, and I'm like, I just can't.
No,
it scares me. So I'm just scared of the dark. What can I say?
When I stayed at yours, when you moved into uni and I was dog sitting, I could hear your dogs whimpering and stuff. And I think it was in Isabel's bed, and I thought, you know what, I love them, but they're gonna have to take one for the team. If there's someone down, if there's a ghost down there, they can deal with it themselves.
I hate being home around the dogs.
Yeah,
because they bark for no reason, and then I'm like, oh my god, ghosts.
Terrified. I love ghosts, but I'd like to have a human friend beside me to experience it with. Yeah. So, but I mean, in terms of like paranormal experiences, Mom's boyfriend Carl, I'm sure he's mentioned once he saw an old woman in his kitchen once when he was just like coming downstairs. So like, that's never happened to me. I've never seen or visibly thought I've seen
No.
like a ghost. I
I thought I
presence.
saw a face once. But
Where?
so I went for a wee in the middle of the night, and then I look back at the landing before I close the door because I like to make sure there's nothing there. As the dog just whined, I'm shit myself up here. And I thought I saw like the outline of a face in the when I like moved the camera, like the light down, so like in the like glow of the light. And you know what? I went to school the following day, and I told my mate, and he was like, "Well, it was the middle of the night. You're probably just hallucinating because you were tired." I was like, "Piss off! I saw a ghost. Stop raining on my parade, son."
Bloody science can kiss my ass. Not that he was science or anything, but you know, like he represents.
It's just like, you're probably hallucinating. You just want to see something. It's like, but Isabel says after I said I think there's a ghost in the house, Isabel was like, sometimes in bed she feels like a weight on her, and I was like, no, it's horrible.
Mounted her in her sleep. It could just be the bunk beds collapsed on them.
Crying. I've told you before they're in the shower when I felt something in there, and I've been like, please sir, can you go leave me to wash it? It's very unbecoming of you. And then I feel it leave, but that just might be me being
no, but either way, the thing is, that's the thing, if you think about it too much, you're like, actually, the other ghosts have watched me like pull a strand of hair out of my butt crack and everything. It's like, oh balls, what have they been seeing? They're privy to all that. But hey listeners, if you've had any ghostly experiences, please let us know.
We'll get you on, you can talk about it.
Oh yeah, who can we like harass online to tell us about their ghost stories?
I don't know anyone who's experienced anything.
I mean, I'd ask Carl. So yeah, I don't feel like that would go much further than
my mum was saying earlier when I was talking about all this like ghost shit with her, she was saying that my auntie, she at the old, like her old house, she thought her husband was kissing her like good morning to go to work, and then she woke up and it wasn't him, and she doesn't know who it was.
Oh my god, that's so weird. What if it was someone really attractive, or worse, what if it was someone really unattractive? Oh my god. See, I don't know, because again, generically you peg a ghost as a scary being that's out to get you. But what if it's just a friendly fellow lingering around who wants to wish you a good day before work?
That's what I'm choosing to believe with the house ghost I think we have.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to do this Ouija thing one day, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm shitting myself, but we do.
I know. I mean, the thing is, we'd be like seeking out Nan. We'd get Grandad.
Oh, I bet we would.
He would. Or we'd get like Little Jack, so it'd just be this barking ghost, and we're like, right, nothing's gonna happen from this. But we'll figure it out. Again, if we do ever do it, we're gonna have to record it because now our entire lives are dedicated to the podcast. Right. So that was a very good opener for our spooky season of podcasts. I really enjoyed that.
We don't have an outro, but we do have a social media that you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and wherever you get your podcasts. We're on so many platforms now. I can't list them. Bloody hell. We're professionals.
Can't be arsed. But we're on that many platforms. They are hard to sustain without, a little bit of funding.
Yeah, we do. You can support us on Acast. You can give us a small one-off donation if you choose, but you don't have to. But if you choose,
no pressure.
You don't have to. But if you choose,
but we can get to Romania a lot quicker if we're richer.
Feel no pressure, but also you could send us gifts. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have anything. We're British. If it's free, we'll have it.
Right. See you next week when we carry on being spooky on Boob.
For more Boob. That wasn't scary. Don't put that in. That was a poor attempt.
Right. Hasta la vista, baby.